Hello! What is up, my friends, my dudes, and dudettes, I guess. Dudette seems like such an outdated term. Um, hello, friends, all, regardless of identity. Uh, Tonight on Unbodied, we will be discussing Battle Royale's potential bounce back, FNS's moving to the inactive roster, a trip to the rumor mill, gonna get some nice fresh wood made out of rumors, and London's 2-0 week for week 2 of Overwatch League. I'm Havokpus. I'm joined by Frozencreek. Hello.
Hi, I'm Frozencreek. Um, hello.
Hello. How are you, Frozen?
It's going. It's raining outside, I think. So if there's any background noise, it's because of the rain. But it is much appreciated. It got above 90 multiple times over the weekend. So I cannot wait
Oh
for
yeah,
it to be somewhat cool.
it's been raining a lot here, and I think it's because of that tropical storm that's hitting Florida, or whatever. So I've been getting my fair share of rain.
Well, I'm not jealous unless it's to break up the heat because it is too damn hot up here in Michigan.
I can only imagine. Well, let's get right into this nitty gritty because we do have some stuff to talk about. Even though there wasn't a lot of matches happening, we do have some stuff that we can speak about. And the first thing is CSGO. Some big news coming almost out of nowhere. I think Frozen. I believe last week we discussed CS:GO's struggles. We were talking about, FNS is not really gelling right. They're not, really utilizing him in the capacity that maybe he should be. How long are we going to really give FNS before we really demand some changes? Well, it seems we didn't have to wait very long, because C9 has announced that FNS will be moving to the inactive roster after their participation in ECS London, which I believe is this weekend or next weekend. I can't remember, but it's soon. So they will be
Yeah.
transitioning him away.
I guess it does kind of seem sudden, but I guess they just weren't happy with what was going on in the inner workings of the team. I know he didn't get much practice time with the team just because they were always so busy on stage, but it seems kind of odd that they're willing to throw away all their investment into him this quickly. But I guess if they know that it's not working, then they just know, and any other alternatives must be better.
Yeah, I think I think I mentioned this last week, but I know Valens and I think Rush and Tarek and I think even FNS himself has said in interviews there is not a lot of natural chemistry with this current setup. They haven't had a lot of time to implement his stuff, but even with FNS in the roster and how C9 likes to play, they like this sort of looser, kind of go with the flow, adapt as you go kind of style, which is actually what made them so successful leading up to the Boston Major and what made them win the major. I think a good portion of it. So, to even without much practice, the results that they were getting at some of these events was not good by any stretch. C9 just did not look there. They lacked a certain firepower, a certain explosiveness that you really kind of have to have, and I think that FNS was just too much of a downgrade, even with whatever strategic mind that he possesses can kind of even that out. So I think that's basically why they felt that they need to make this move. I think also it is a bit sudden, but I think you also have to consider the sunk cost fallacy. Just because you put investment into something and it doesn't start to pan out doesn't mean that you have to keep riding it till you get whatever return you feel you're getting off of it. If C9 paid however much they paid for him and it's not working out, it might just be that making changes now before things get too ingrained, things get too set in, it might be better, because if we're playing like this now, imagine a few months down the line we're still playing like crap and we have successfully built up and implemented whatever system FNS has set up. That just makes it even worse because now we're playing completely different and we suck. So I think that from a business perspective, you really have to consider, like, what's going on. Yes, you did spend a bunch of money to get FNS, but the investment is not paying off. So, it's all about determining when you cut off that investment and then pursue other avenues to help you get back on track with whatever your strategy, your plan is. And I think that's what C9's doing.
Yeah, and I feel like there has to be something going on inside the house to make them make this switch so quickly, just because it feels like almost kind of rushed in a way. Like, but what kind of worries me is what I've seen regarding the team is that they're looking to bring in another in-game leader, IGL. So I'm not sure how that is going to work with the team if they have a set way that they're happy to play.
Yeah, I really am kind of not wanting them to get another IGL. And when we talk about the rumors for the CSGO stuff, we'll maybe get a little bit into exactly who they're considering. I want to build up anticipation, but I think Tarek as the IGL actually works very well. He is really good at playing a loose style and calling in sort of a loose style. I think, he may not be the most strategically brilliant player out there, but I think how he is able to control the other players on C9 and is able to work around the strategies and counter strategies that their opponents are working. I think Tarek has done a good job. It could be that he's just really tired of being in the leadership role. He wants to step away from that. And, maybe he feels like he's better just as being like a rifle or an entry player or whatever the positions are. But it seems kind of weird that they would be getting another IGL because I really like how Tarek works and how his kind of whole thing goes.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with him so far. So I guess maybe there's just something going on behind the scene where they're just not happy with him as an IGL, but I feel like it's paid off pretty well so far the way they've been playing. I think part of it has to do with the fact that maybe that's what the organization and management feels like the team needs. So I guess we'll just have to see if that's what they feel like they need and who they are talking about bringing in.
Yeah, who knows what's really going on inside the house. I'm sure that from what I have read, this was a team decision, and I think it's something that I think maybe even FNS came to. So maybe it was him, and he was talking with Valence, he's talking to the team and saying like, okay, I'm clearly not working. I'm sorry that I'm not able to. I think C9 is a very good team, and they're a very prestigious organization. So there are high expectations, I think, within the team and as well as within the fan base. So, you have, just so much pressure on FNS's shoulders, especially when he was announced. I remember the Discord was flipping out saying, oh, FNS is not going to accomplish much. FNS is going to drag C9 down. They're not going to be that successful. And I hate to say that some people were right, but that is also given that there hasn't really been time to really allow FNS's brain to flourish. But from what I've read, it was a team decision. It was also, I think, a very hard decision. I think it has to be really tough in esports because it's a very small number of people that you really end up working with. So you end up really getting attached to people, and I think it's sometimes hard to say like, hey man, I just don't think you're working out, and we kind of want to go into a new direction with you not in it. But that's what has ended up happening. So who knows? I hope that with whoever ends up potentially replacing FNS, they are skilled and able to bring whatever is lacking at C9 at the moment. Also, who knows, maybe FNS can even stay within the org and just be a secondary coach and help the team with strategy. I think he's very smart, so it's not like he can't still help the org outside of the game. So I think that, we could still potentially use him and not make make him feel, like 100% worthless.
Yeah, I wonder how that's gonna work out. So I'm sure that they're gonna make future announcements about it. But I guess we should carry on with what you are holding to your chest.
Yes. Well, let's talk about Battle Royale first, and then we can jump
Oh
jump on
boy.
over to the old lumberyard. So Battle Royale potentially could be back. The H1Z1 team gave a pretty great performance last week on H1Z1 Pro League, and they ended up springboarding themselves all the way from last place to ninth. They actually looked pretty good, and they looked like they were on form again. The NA PUBG team placed third at the PGI NA Online Qualifier after slogging through just random after random kind of setups with Moody and Frolicer. It seems the team has finally set on Stab and Riem to sort of be their third and fourth spots for the team. Can they land a consistent roster, and are they going to be keeping these guys, and can they consistency from that? I don't know, but I'm hoping that through these kind of results that maybe the team is starting to look better than they were, because I've been really concerned with the Battle Royale thing, because it's something that you definitely want to be in, because it's getting, reaching such a high saturation point that you kind of have to have a Battle Royale thing of some regard. But when just across the board, every team under that division is just failing miserably, you have to kind of maybe call in the question like, hey, your your stuff's looking really bad. You need to maybe do something, Jack, or whoever is in charge of running that. I don't know. I don't mean to call out Jack specifically, but there needs to be something kind of done. So yeah, but it seems that maybe the Battle Royale teams are looking a bit better.
Yeah, I still haven't been able to watch them that much, but I guess at least they're not last. I think we do need to give them a short amount of time to try and iron out the kinks and wait until there's a better option available. And I'm not sure if that's available right now, but at least they seem to be making improvements, even if it's just for 1 week.
Yeah, and I think also, I think it might be hard to really figure out like how to actually build a Battle Royale squad, because it's it's a fairly new game. I think PUBG only came out maybe like last year or something. So it's a fairly new game type, and the scene is still kind of growing. So you don't really have things like, coaching structure and management structure in place that can really handle this type of game. There's a lot of random variables involved in this game. Where the circle is, what kind of loot drops where, where do the other teams like to go, and what are their strategies with, how they're dropping versus other teams dropping. It's a lot to kind of take in. So I think strategic planning might be very difficult, and finding players that are very good as well as very consistent can also be somewhat difficult. But hopefully, as time goes on, C9 can maybe get better hang of how to exactly do Battle Royale stuff, and actually live up to the Cloud9 brand, I suppose, in terms of success and talent.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add.
I did not expect you
I
to.
think you got it.
Okay, so let's insert the buzzsaw sound effect. Um, we're at the lumberyard. We're at the rumor mill. So for CSGO, it seems that FNS's replacement just might be G2's NBK. Around the time that FNS, his inactivity was announced, it was rumored, and we have to take this with a grain of salt. This is just rumors and hearsay until there are official announcements. These could just be rumors. This isn't breaking news. This isn't official in any means. But around the time of the FNS announcement, it was rumored that G2's NBK and Apex were both being looked at for his position. Today, a French esports site called vacarm.net, Vacarm, it's weird, but it's like a French esports site, and it reported that C9 will be taking NBK on a trial basis after ECS London. So, Frozen, what do you think of all this buzz?
I think that there is a lot of potential here. I don't know enough about the players on a intimate enough level to speak heavily about them, but I do know enough to know that this is probably an upgrade from FNS, and I think it does add an interesting element and dimension to the squad.
Yeah, I think this is a good move from what I have heard from other CSGO fans and talking to people from the C9 Discord. NBK is a very good player. He's very talented. He, speaks perfect English. I think he has IGL'd before, and from what I've heard, his strats are all right. And he's on G2, who G2 has been a extremely talented team in the past. Their recent struggles with trying to figure out what works. I think French CSGO, they do a lot of shuffling, so they're in the midst of getting the deck squared away. But I've heard nothing but good things about NBK, so if that's the route that we're gonna go, I think he can bring a lot more explosive firepower that C9's been looking for, as well as maybe some strategic play as well. How he would do under C9, I guess, remains to be seen, and that is if he is going to be picked up. But I think C9 can maybe get a lot more done with NBK than FNS. I think because NBK has a better pedigree, he's perceived at least as more talented, as well as he might just fit how C9 likes to play a bit better.
Yeah, I think my first instincts on it are that it is a step up from FNS. I guess it makes me kind of curious to why they didn't go for that at the first time, but
well, what they didn't do it the first time because I think G2 was still maybe holding on to him and trying to get their own thing sorted out, as well as Stewie had left pretty unexpectedly, and it was one of those things where it's like, okay, well, who's available right now that we can go with?
Oh,
and
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and from the available talent at that time, when other people are getting grabbed up for teams, as well as maybe contract buyouts and whatnot, FNS seemed like the best bet at the time. Now things have kind of settled a bit. Now you can kind of take a step back and really look at the landscape and say, okay, we have X amount of resources, and you're talking to the team and saying, who would you like to play with that you think can really elevate your play, and maybe Tarek and Valens and the rest go like, well, NBK would be really good, or Apex, or somebody, they probably have a list or something, but NBK was maybe on that list, and maybe they had some pre-interviews or something, but I don't know the process, but it seems like I would assume maybe that's how it went.
Yeah, and it's good news that they're moving on this quick. So, I mean, as of right now, like we said, that these are exclusively rumors, but people are reporting it. I can't say I know of the source that well. I've never heard of it.
From how I've seen, I would usually take stuff like this as pretty close to being accurate. That was up until the whole deal with Stewie leaving, and then every other day you would see some article from HLTV or something saying, oh, X is going to go to C9, and then the next day it's like, oh, sorry, X is actually going to this team, and then they're just, at that point, it's like you don't know who's going where. You're just saying things at this point, and that was really annoying. So I'm not sure. Definitely take this as a rumor, but with, I don't know. I think maybe with multiple things saying it, I think it's more and more looking like a sure thing. We'll have to wait and see. Anything can happen, and we'll definitely report on it as it happens. But for right now, that's sort of perhaps what the situation is looking like, at least from the rumored situation. But moving on to the second rumor, we have a bonus one. We don't have a lot of League of Legends talk, so I thought I'd throw this in. Former FlyQuest strategic coach Rapidstar has been spotted in several photos with C9. He was spotted in the go-kart video, as well as a recent Invent article kind of looking at, an average day in the life of C9. He was shown inside the house. So it seems like we may have picked him up as sort of a new strategic coach to maybe help with stuff in-game. I know in-game stuff was an issue for us last split, so maybe this is sort of an answer to that, as well as maybe it gives another coach for Reaper to bounce things off of. So what do you think of this, Frozen? If he is to be our new strategic coach, do you think he will be able to help the team?
I'm definitely not against them bringing in another coach because there are obvious weaknesses that plague the League of Legends team. So I'm glad that they're being proactive. I don't quite know enough about Rapidstar to be able to say if this is a good or bad idea, but I'm assuming that he's very capable if they're planning on bringing him in, I guess.
Yeah, I think he was the strategic coach during FlyQuest's sort of miracle playoff run last year in summer. If you remember, they beat C9, and then I think they did they lose semifinals? I think they, I can't remember if they, no, yeah, I think they had this really miracle run where they were doing really well, and I think they beat C9, and then they just completely petered out after that. I think. I
Yeah.
can't remember exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm. I do,
But
do remember that. Yeah, I think it's good news. I don't think he's gonna remake the team by any means, but I do think that it's good news for the future that they are being proactive on stuff like this.
oh yeah, I think considering his title, at least under FlyQuest, was strategic coach, I think he won't have much input on how the roster is formed. I think his job will mainly be, okay, this is how the team kind of plays. This is, what they're doing right strategically. This is what they're doing wrong. This is what they need to try, and then maybe try to guide them with how the meta is currently and how it's looking to shape up with, maybe the next patch or something. How they need to operate to guarantee a high win percentage. So I would assume that is what he would be doing. But yeah, I think it could be good. I mean, more coaches are definitely a plus, especially if they know what they're doing. I think after looking at Cloud9's situation last split, they definitely need something to, someone to step in and say, like, okay, your strategy sucks. You need to do, you're doing these things wrong. You need to do this, this, and this. I think Reaper is good for the big picture, but, maybe for smaller things, maybe stuff that he just misses because he has to look at, how we're doing macro-wise and how, you make drafts and stuff. Things could maybe slip as he is reviewing things. So I think it's definitely good. Time will tell. I'm not sure if this will be officially announced, if they'll just kind of slip it in and say, like, oh yeah, we got Rapidstar. Or what, I'm not sure if Riot needs to, like, sort of approve this or not, and that might be why they haven't announced it yet, or maybe they're waiting for the season to get closer to starting, but, who knows? We will definitely keep an eye on it. Do you have anything else to say?
Nah, no, I don't.
Alright. Well, we didn't have a lot to talk about today, but let's finish things off talking about Overwatch League a little bit. London squeaked by Week 2 with a 2-0 win. They beat San Francisco Shock and Soul Dynasty 3-2.
Yeah, it was especially nice to see them win on Game 5 maps. Because
Yeah,
that's
I
something
think
that they've been questionable
London's best
on.
control map is Nepal. So they definitely look more comfortable on that than like Oasis.
Yeah, I know. But they've been weak on capture maps quite a bit this year. So it's good to see them excuse me, stepping up to do well.
Yeah, I agree. I'm also happy to see Birdring back in form. After his injury, everyone was kind of questioning like, oh, is he gonna be able to return to form? He definitely is, because over the week he was definitely putting up numbers that were pretty crucial in letting London stay relevant in those matches and end up winning. So it's really glad to see. I'm also really surprised that Prophet has such a deep hero pool. He's able to play just everything. He can play, the Brigitte. He can play Zarya. He can play Pharah now. I think he's been really grinding out the hours on Pharah to get good at her, because you kind of need a projectile now. You can play Junkrat. He can play Tracer, and it's almost like there's nothing he can't play at this point. And it's so cool to see someone just so flexible and retain such a high level of skill. And it's really good to see that them maybe moving things in the right direction. I don't like that we did win 3-2 for both matches, but I think that's definitely a step in the right direction, I think.
I mean, at the end of the day, a win's a win. So I'm just glad that
No,
they
yeah, that's
are
true.
still winning, even if it's not pretty. So I have been
Yeah.
really impressed with Birdrings, especially this week, because he has been questionable across on the stage. So I think that they've done a really good job this past week of picking good comps and not being scared to switch. Like they haven't been playing solely dive. We've been seeing the quad tank. We've been seeing Brigitte comps. So I'm glad that they're showing that they're more flexible than what they showed in stage 1, when it was almost all dive.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that it's really benefiting that they've trimmed down their roster. As sad as it is to see players like Tizzy and Hureg and Woohyul go, it's allowing the coaches to really focus on just one core group of players and go, okay, we're up against this team. Here's how they kind of like to play. Here's how we're going to prepare, and really just stay focused and focus on them, as a core unit improving, instead of being like, okay, well, we have to give Hago scrim time, and we have to give Hagapen and Closer as a duo scrim time, and now we got to get Closer impetus, and then you're trying to like mix and match too many parts. You're spreading prep time thin, and as well as there was this weird issue where like just during a match, like at halftime, you just swap out your diva player or a support player randomly, and it'd just be like, okay, well, they were doing kind of good, hopefully they'll do well, and then it kind of causes some problems. So I think them just like being super focused on this group, it allows them to really just cut away all the bullshit, just focus on what they need to do to get things done, and do it.
Yeah, I do think that you do make some good points. I think it still is a little early to say if it's working or not. It's been what, 1 week, so we won 2 best of 5s in the 5th game. So I'm gonna hesitate calling it a success so far. I want to see how we look going into playoffs first.
That's fair. They do play Boston Uprising Dallas Fuel this week. I think the Boston match should be a slam dunk, but for Dallas, I'm actually quite scared, which is weird to say considering how they've been playing this whole season. I think a mixture of the meta being very favorable as well as them getting just this brand new coach and this has sort of re-exhilarated them. The Dallas field actually look fairly scary, and I'm not sure if London will be able to beat them.
Yeah, I think I'm confident that we can win because I think on our day we can pretty much beat anybody. So it is going to be a tough match, and that's probably going to be one of the matches of the week to watch. So make sure to tune in.
Yeah, that one's this Saturday, so make sure to tune that in. I'm really running out of things. Do you have anything else that you want to say
Nope.
about anything? Okay. Well, thank you for listening to Bodied, Cloud9 Fancast. Feel free to tweet questions and feedback to us at C9Bodied or email us at bodiedfancast@gmail.com. Questions will be answered next podcast or whenever. So thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, thank you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Goodbye.